My name is Taran Ellis. I'm 29 years old, and I learned that sometimes betrayal doesn't take your money first. It takes your trust. It started when my mother needed surgery. Nothing cosmetic, nothing optional. A real medical emergency. Bills were stacking up, prescriptions were expensive, and she sounded worried when she called. "We just need a little help until insurance kicks in," she said. So I helped. I opened a credit card with a small limit, just enough to cover what was needed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was helping family through a difficult moment. A few days later, I was scrolling online when I saw photos of my sister in Hawaii. Ocean views, luxury dinners, beachside drinks, shopping bags in every frame. At first, I assumed she'd saved up. Then I asked where the money came from. She smiled and said, "Thanks to your credit card." "Don't worry, I only spent a little." I laughed, because the card I opened barely had any room on it. Then my mother quietly reached into her purse and pulled out a gold card I thought I'd lost months ago. I froze. That card wasn't the one I opened for medical bills. That card was tied to my business account, and suddenly, everything made sense. That night, I checked the statements. Luxury purchases, flights, resorts, designer stores, every charge connected to one trip. Every transaction linked back to the same destination. It wasn't just careless spending. It was access they were never given. And the part that hurt most wasn't the balance. It was how casually they treated it. As if my hard work was theirs to use. As if my name was something they could borrow whenever convenient. The next morning, I took action. I contacted the bank. I locked the account. I filed the necessary reports. And I called an attorney. Not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted boundaries. For years, I had covered expenses, solved emergencies, and cleaned up messes no one else wanted to face. I was called the responsible one. But responsibility without respect becomes exploitation, and I was done confusing the two. When my sister found out the account was frozen, the messages started immediately. "You're overreacting." It was family. "You'd really do this to your own sister?" Then my mother called. Her voice was sharp. "You're ruining her future over a mistake." I sat there in silence, because using someone else's identity, their credit, and their trust isn't a mistake. It's a choice. And this wasn't the first time they had chosen themselves at my expense. It was just the first time I refused to absorb it quietly. As the process moved forward, more truth came out. Old, unpaid transfers, money I had loaned and never seen again. Promises made only when they needed something. A pattern I had ignored for years was finally impossible to miss. I realized something painful. They didn't just expect help. They expected access to my time, my work, my resources, my peace. And when I said no, I became the problem. Eventually, we all ended up in the same room. No raised voices, no dramatic speeches, just truth. I spoke clearly. "I'm not here to punish anyone. I'm here to protect what should have been respected from the start." I talked about helping with medical bills. I talked about seeing vacation photos while carrying stress that was never mine. And I talked about how trust, once broken, costs more than money to rebuild. The room stayed quiet. For the first time, no one had excuses left. The outcome mattered, but not as much as what changed inside me. I updated every account, created stronger safeguards, separated my finances completely. And most importantly, I stopped believing love requires endless sacrifice, because real love doesn't rely on guilt. It doesn't demand access. It doesn't punish boundaries. Weeks later, life became quieter. No emergency calls, no last-minute demands, no pressure disguised as loyalty, just peace. One afternoon, I passed a jewelry store and saw a simple gold bracelet in the window. Nothing flashy, just elegant. I bought it with my own card, my own name on the receipt. And as I fastened it to my wrist, I remembered something my grandmother once told me. The people who love you shouldn't make you prove it. I understand that now. Love is not measured by how much you lose. It's measured by how safe you are allowed to remain. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't mean going back. Sometimes it means learning the lesson, closing the door, and protecting your future. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to people who took too much is nothing at all.